All right, guys, welcome to the show. In this episode, I've got 3 wide receivers listed right here that I absolutely love for fantasy football 2023. Excited to dive into this episode here as we get closer. We're just over a week away from the actual NFL draft, and I am over the moon excited for fantasy football 2023. Now, I've been watching a lot of basketball, a lot of soft play in basketball, a lot of weak injuries, a lot of dramatic injuries, or I would say, Sabonis got stomped yesterday. Let's put it that way. And, I guess a foot in the chest would hurt, but to be down for 5 to 10 minutes is a little ridiculous. Either way, I'm doing what I can to kill time until football starts. And it's been kind of boring. I mean, you've got UFC. I've been watching that, whenever there's a good fight on. But again, we need football back, and we're so close. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So in this episode, I got 3 wide receivers that I absolutely love. Going to go over why I love them. Very important, you guys drop a comment below. Let me know who you guys love at the wide receiver position. If you haven't checked out my last episode, go back an episode. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Click that subscribe button and go check out 3 running backs I love and why I love them. Again, this is very early. A lot more plays out after the NFL draft, and I get a better feel for everybody, and including the rookies and where they land the depth charts. But as of right now, I'm just laying things out pre-NFL draft for you. All right, guys? So comments below, drop it. Who do you absolutely love at the wide receiver position? Subscribe, thumbs up, and make sure you grab the 16-round draft solution, the first ever and only video training. It's going to help you guys crush your leagues. There's a promo going on right now. Use code WIN. Save yourself 20% on the pre-order right now. 16 rounds. It's a game changer. Click on the link, watch the video, and you'll learn more about 16 rounds. Rankings are dead. Kashif's rankings are dead. 16 rounds is all you need to crush your league, and you'll be light years ahead of the competition. All right? So let's dive into this. All right. The first wide receiver I love, I've talked about him in other videos. I think the situation is primed for a good season. His teammate yesterday was out squatting or lifting 500 pounds. It was crazy, deadlifting. It was Michael Thomas was the guy that was doing the deadlift. But the guy I'm talking about here that I love at wide receiver is Chris Olave. Now, Thomas is probably going to get himself hurt even before the season starts. The guy can't finish the season to save his life. We know he's washed up. The second receiver in targets last year, the highest receiver in targets was Landry last year with only 39 targets. Olave had himself a decent rookie campaign with 119 targets, 72 receptions last year, only 4 touchdowns. A lot of these second-year receivers in their first year, their rookie year last year, only had around 4 touchdowns. Some of the guys that I'm talking about, including one of the guys that I'm going to mention here as the third wide receiver I love. The touchdown count wasn't high for Olave, and I get it, right? But that means that he hasn't scratched the surface. There's more to be had. So I look at Chris Olave, and I'm looking at a guy that I see a ton of ceiling there. They've brought in Derek Carr, who made, Adams really fantasy relevant last year. I see a guy that was drafted in the first round. I see a team with aging players. Alvin Kamara, possible suspension looming. He's a troublemaker as of late, right? Chris Olave, okay, is ranked 14th right now. So you're not going to get a super steal on him, but you're getting theoretically a wide receiver 1, great talent, early draft capital that the team invested in him in his rookie year, right? He was round 1, 11th pick overall, right? They drafted him as their first pick. So understand, guys, he's ranked 14th. You're still getting decent value for a wide receiver 1. You don't have to pay a first, second round pick for him, possibly a third. We're going to have to see where his ADP falls exactly. But again, you're aiming high on the depth chart. You're getting a wide receiver 1. You're getting a young dynamic player who's got an improved situation at the quarterback position. Okay. It's better for him. Derek Carr can make him fantasy relevant. And again, Michael Thomas out there doing videos showing his strength, but can't stay on the field. He's washed. He's done. Kamara, right? Again, Alvin Kamara could have another safe year, but he's past his prime as well. Chris Olave is the future. We're going to have to see what the Saints do in the draft. But again, I love it. I love the situation. Decent value for him, right? Again, I can get my running backs and then start targeting them. And that's the secret I want to talk about here for you guys, okay? When I'm looking at wide receivers, there's a ton of wide receivers I can get that are wide receiver 1s on their team that I don't have to spend a Tyreek Hill price tag or a Justin Jefferson. Mind you, they may not finish with as many points as Justin Jefferson, but you're still getting yourself a wide receiver 1 that could eclipse Jefferson. Because again, Jefferson had a pinnacle year. He could decline. Either way, when I look at wide receivers, I'm not, getting the top tier guys, your Diggs, your Jefferson, your Tyreek Hills, your Adams, because again, I can get wide receiver ones for great value later, and Olave is one of those guys, so absolutely love him. Second guy here, a lot of question marks, but a lot of upside. By the way, like I said, Olave ranked 14th, finished 28th last year. This guy is ranked 42nd as of right now. His ADP should start shooting up as soon as we hear about training camp. The guy I'm talking about is Calvin Ridley. This guy was a first-round pick in 2018, round one pick. His best year was in 2020. Obviously, he was suspended because of the betting on teams, a lot of drama. I'm not going to get into that and why he was suspended. But 2020 was his best year, 1,374 yards, 9 touchdowns, 90 receptions. He's a solid player. He is a great player. He's a dynamic player. He's a first-round pick in 2018. My only concern is how will that rapport be with Trevor Lawrence? Now, I love Trevor Lawrence. He's that guy that I just think has a ton of upside. He is the future. He's like a Jalen Hurts type upside, Josh Allen. He is that good. I don't know if he's as good as Hurts, but what I'm saying is Trevor Lawrence is a special player. You're not in a situation where you got a quarterback where you're like questioning whether it's going to be a good situation, which again, my third guy is kind of in that situation, but this guy is in a situation where I think, the quarterback play is going to be good with Trevor Lawrence. So I look at a guy like Ridley. Last year, Kirk was a top target getter at 133 targets. Zay Jones was 121 targets. I believe with certainty that Ridley is better than both Kirk and definitely Zay Jones for sure. And you're in a situation with a great quarterback. You're coming back, and I'm hearing that he's hungry, looking good. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder and how amazing that connection is going to be with Trevor Lawrence. Now, again, you got ATN there. You're going to have the ball distributed all around. But Ridley should and will be the wide receiver one. There's no doubt about it. And here's the deal. You're getting immense value. As of right now, sitting 42nd, I can get this guy, 5th, 6th round whenever I get him. And I'm getting a potential wide receiver one with a massive ceiling. And that's where the advantage is to you guys, because you're getting a guy with some uncertainty and some upside, and you don't have to pay that much for him, but you got that high ceiling, right? Because the mainstream just copy and paste. And the advantage to this is, again, you're getting a wide receiver one with a massive upside. You don't have to pay a lot. Calvin Ridley, love him. Third guy here is in a suspect situation with the quarterback with Desmond Ridder. Drake London, second-year player, only had 4 touchdowns, 866 yards last year. But again, the quarterback situation was a disaster. Still managed 117 targets. Kyle Pitts has proven to us that he is not the guy. He is not the guy that people thought he was going to be. But again, I still think if Pitts has a good season, he can still be a distraction, distract the defense and opening things up for Drake London, who has not scratched the surface on his talent. I understand he was a first-round pick, very high draft capital. Desmond Ridder is a guy that I believe they're going to be starting with. Now, Desmond Ridder, we haven't seen enough out of. 86.43 was his passer rating, but he only played 4 games. In those 4 games, only amassed 708 passing yards and only 2 touchdowns. So my question is, how good is Desmond Ridder going to be? You're in a situation where you've got great talent with Drake London. I think if the volume is there, we're going to have to see what they do with the draft. If they don't draft another wide receiver, a top tier wide receiver, and if Drake London's the guy, if the volume's going his way, and they've got that rapport now, they've had all off season, they're going to have all off season training camp, a little bit of last year, this could be a special connection, and they're going to have the volume. The volume's going to be there. So talent, youth is there for Drake London. The upside, opportunity, and potentially volume. The big question, of course, is Desmond Ridder. But either way, I love Drake London, and I like the value. Currently sitting 23rd on the Sheep's consensus rankings. You can get this guy later, and you're getting a wide receiver one. So what are you learning here? You're learning that you can get wide receiver ones. I'm not saying that Drake London is going to be as good as Justin Jefferson, but what I'm saying is you could stack 3, 4, 5, 6 of these guys, add depth to your fantasy football roster, aim high on the depth chart, which you're doing with all these guys, and all you need is 2 of these guys to hit. Now, most leagues start 2 wide receivers. You can still flex a running back, as a flex, or you can get one of these other guys to hit, one of your tight ends later on, some of these upside wide receivers to hit and get another flex play. But you're going to get, the point is, if you aim high on the depth chart, draft a little bit later, on these wide receivers, and get one of these wide receiver ones, you're definitely going to get 2 ace wide receivers, and you're going to fill those spots after you've gone robust RB. Okay, guys? So again, I'm not wasting early draft capital on wide receivers early, and I'm still getting top tier upside wide receiver ones later. And there's tons of other guys. There's Garrett Wilson's out there. There's other guys. There's rookies coming in. tons of depth at wide receiver that can fill the void there for you guys to fill your roster spots, okay? And you don't have to invest early. So Olave, Ridley, Drake London, tons of upside, tons of ceiling, some question marks, obviously, but that's where you're going to gamble off the value. You get the value, right? You're not paying high draft capital. If you're new to the channel, if this is making sense to you, because I'm the only one speaking the truth, I'm not copying and pasting rankings. Everyone else is playing it safe, putting Tony Pollard in the top 10, knowing that the Cowboys are probably going to draft somebody. It's all copy and paste off last year. There's no thinking behind any of these rankings and anybody else giving advice. If this resonates with you, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up, get 60 rounds of linked below, use code WIN to save yourself 20%. Pre-order right now. I'll see you guys in the course, and make sure you guys subscribe. I'm going to keep rolling out the off-season content. Subscribe, thumbs up. I appreciate you guys being here. Lion mentality. I'm out.